Hello, welcome. In this video, we are going to break down Warrior 3. My name is Candy Block. I'm a yoga instructor, and this is a pose that I find to be really challenging. But when someone actually broke this down and told me that Warrior 3 is a mini back bend, mind blown. It changed my entire practice. So that's what I want to go over with you today. So let's get right to it. So in Warrior 3, I'm going to use my blocks. So I like to come into a supported Warrior 3 first. And that way I can really find where my hips are level. I can find the stability, and then I can start to play with my arms. If you don't have any blocks at home, that's okay. You can find other props. I have a whole video on block alternatives that you can check out. So we'll want our blocks near the top of our mat, and I like to have them on the highest height. And so first, just really making sure if we're coming into our forward fold that our blocks are going to be right under our shoulders. That's where we want them. So I'm going to use my left leg as my standing leg, and then my right leg will be lifted. So with the hands on the blocks, and they can be kind of firmly on the blocks or nice and loose just on the fingertips, we're going to lift the the right leg up and back. So this is a supported Warrior 3. Now coming into it this way is an easier way to make sure that you're keeping your hips nice and level as you lift your leg. So maybe even bringing the leg back down to standing, placing a hand on the low back right below the sacrum, and then lifting the right leg. So what a lot of us have a tendency to do is to lift our right leg higher. So then we're almost kind of opening and we're all wonky. What we want is for our hips to be nice and level. And then with the hands on the blocks, we can really start to get this feeling like we're lifting our heart, we're shining it forward in this little back bend. So I even like to come up just onto my fingertips here, and I can really start to feel that. And then we can begin to play with the arms. So this is where you might need to put a little bit of a bend in the knee. We definitely don't want to lock out our standing knee. And then engaging through the core, we're balancing, bringing the hands to heart center. We can bring the hands back to airplane, or maybe even reaching them up overhead. Ooh, it's okay if you fall out of Warrior 3. I think that's definitely the challenge of it. I can feel that in my standing leg, my glutes, my quads, because we're engaging all of those muscles to really hold this posture. So I'm going to come into it on the other side as well. And again, there are many ways you can come into Warrior 3. This is just one where I think when we're practicing the technique, I've found to be the easiest. So again, blocks underneath of us, right below the shoulders. This time the right leg is going to be my standing leg. I'm slowly lifting my left leg up, trying to get it parallel. It's okay if it's not, it can be a little lower. And then really making sure that we're either flexing or pointing through the foot. We want to do something. We don't just want it dangling. When we're engaged in the foot, we're engaged through the leg. You can even check to make sure that your hips are nice and level. Again, the tendency is probably for you to lift the left hip a little bit higher than the standing leg. So make sure we're bringing that nice and level there. And then again, feeling this little bit of an arch in the spine. So a lot of times students will look down toward their toes and then we end up really rounded. And this is not the best place to be lifting our hands. Again, we're feeling all wonky. We want our heart shining forward. We're looking probably a couple feet in front of the front of our mat, finding a nice place to keep your gaze. Having a point of focus is always good when we're balancing. And then again, we can start to play with lifting the arms, keeping the heart lifted, keeping that tiny bit of a back bend. Whew. It's okay to bring the hands back down to the blocks if we need to. And then slowly coming out of this, lowering the legs and shaking them out. So that's just a quick breakdown of Warrior Three. Again, we want a lot of energy through the back leg that we're kicking back. We're engaged through our standing leg. We're always engaged in our core anytime we're doing a balancing posture. And then using the blocks, coming into a supported Warrior Three to really find that posture. And then we start to play with our arms. And again, the mini back bend is really where it was at for me. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video. If you found it helpful, please like, comment, and share. You can also subscribe to my channel. I post yoga classes as well as these pose breakdowns and more technique videos. I hope to see you back here soon. Thanks.